Welcome, everyone, to Songerling Inc., episode 34, 43, not 34, 43. My name is Sam Leonard, and I will be your GM. I have some players.
My name is Surtur. I will be playing Kiva, the Kobold Paladin.
I'm Dragon Master. I am the druid known as Earth.
He's born playing Striggs, the Goblin Wizard.
I'm Holocall, playing Holoc, the former fighter, now paladin.
I'm Inter. I'm playing Holgold Wolfshist, who is a human rogue.
I am Voska. I'm playing Vergerus, the High Elf Sorcerer.
All right, and some stuff happened last time. Who wants to let us know what those things were?
I guess I'll try and explain again. The entire past episode was in this place where we were surrounded by the statues of the gods of the world. Where in the previous episode, I tried to get closer to one of the opposing gods to the Lich or the undead god. I tried again this time without success. At some point, Horgold wanted to touch one of the statues, but doing this kind of made him feel bad. So in the end, he retracted his hand. What else did we do? Oh, right. Hollock was doing the same to another statue, which whispered something to the person leaning over his head, over his shoulder, that she was not the right one. And then he sprinted towards another statue and grabbed the gem with both his hands, and some energy flow from him to the statue, where something changed to him, but he didn't feel too good afterwards. We don't really know what happened yet to him. Well, Pollock does. We don't. The next thing that happened, as Grunthos saw this, he thought, well, I'm gonna have to do the same thing. Run towards that spot where he was pulled towards with his gem that he was holding, which we didn't really manage to keep him from going there. So he ended up becoming a god. After that, we had some questions. We got some answers about the workings of this world.
Actual
Mostly.
questions answered, even.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're asking gods who are apparently friendly towards us, so that's a good thing. And after a sad goodbye, Gernthos, aka Emberthor now, sent us home, back to our ship, and that's where we ended.
So you guys awaken. It's morning of the next day. You smell the smell of slightly scorched wood, and hear walking on the deck above, or in the main deck, going up to the deck, you see a late middle-aged man, whom some of you recognize as Bowen, and a small, go ahead and give me a description, please, Zerter.
A female kobold standing a few inches taller than Grunthos did. There is a familial similarity in the colorations. Wearing leather armor, has a backpack with shield on it on the back of, and a rapier in the sheath, and alongside the rapier hangs the hilt of a longsword.
and Bowen is looking around, moderately confused, and he's like towing this heavily scorched wood at his feet. It's like this magical pattern burned into the surface of the or the deck plating, the surface of the boat.
Do I recognize that magical pattern?
Arcana. So, it looks a little like a circle of teleportation. Only the symbols are about half wrong, and it's definitely clerical magic instead of wizard magic. Divine instead of the other word.
Arcane.
Arcane. Thank you.
I'll notify Strix because he has more knowledge of divine.
Divination, yes, but not divine.
Ah, it's two different parts. Sorry.
Divine is more godly. Divination is like getting information from people and or places or whatever. Things
Okay.
like scrying and stuff.
Sorry.
It's kind of slowly linked, I guess. A little bit linked, loosely linked.
They're linked. There's a lot of divination magic in divine spellcasting, but yes, divination is all about seeing places that you aren't, or learning about things that you don't have handy. Divine magic is
Anything.
it's anything that comes from a holy source, or a that sort of source, as opposed to like wizards' spells come from their
Learning.
intricate knowledge of how to manipulate energies. Sorcerers' spells come from basically an inner welling of power that they just release upon the world. Divine magic is given to the divine spellcaster from outside of themselves. So, druids are divine spellcasters. They gather their magic from like life and nature and those sorts of things. Clerics and paladins are also divine spellcasters. They're basically granted spells directly from, in the purposes of clerics, their god, or in paladins, either their god, or if they are so righteous in their like feelings about something, they could ascend to paladinhood, sort of, and basically that thing that they're so righteous about could grant them spells. But yes.
Thank you for
I
the
would be more like,
clarification.
Owen, what are you doing here? And who's this you brought with you?
He clears his throat and says, Striggs, it's good to see you again. I'm unsure what I'm doing here. I was in my bedchambers, and you guys noticed that his he's like wearing a fine robe, but it's like silken. And upon closer looking, it's more like night clothes than he was wearing than like day clothes. So I was in my bedchamber sleeping. I had a very strange dream. There was a pallet, or he met Grunthos, didn't he? He said,
Yeah.
I saw Grunthos bathed in some sort of fire, and he reached out and said that, he points at, as Vergeros comes up into the deck, said that Vergeros had a favor to ask me, and that I was needed elsewhere. And then I'm standing here in my night clothes, standing next to a lovely young lady, whom I don't recognize. Sorry, madam. He bows to Kiva.
What, Gruntos sent you here?
I I don't know how to explain dream logic, but that is what happened in my dream.
How on earth can he send you? And he, how did I get here? She's looking around,
Oh.
very confused.
Well, who are you, miss?
I'm Kiva Emberthorn, Gruntos' sister.
Oh,
Well,
we might have some unfortunate news to bring.
Or fortunate, depends on your point of view.
No, definitely unfortunate. Very sad.
And why am I a paladin of Emberthorn? I am an Ember.
well, that has to do with your brother.
What has he gone and done now?
Let's say he's a god now.
So
A god.
Bowen is looking at you all, and when you say that, his face kind of screws up and says, I am not familiar with a kobold god of fire, I guess.
Well,
He
he took the place of Farah. Did you remember when the day was where all followers of Farah basically were somehow deleted, removed,
Killed.
killed?
exterminated.
We found a gem in the place of power of Farah, which was drained of life, and for some reason last night in our dreams, we were in some kind of plane where it seemed like all the statues of the gods were there, and an empty place where Farah would be. Grunthos had the gem, and he walked into that spot and basically claimed the power for his own, I guess, or became part of Farah.
He sacrificed himself to get the
Basically.
months back we lost, and he became a
And-
god.
And to protect us.
All right. He looks over the deck. I see we're in a port. I need to go get some clothing.
I
and
would
a
give you
sig-
mine, but they would be a little bit too small.
he
I-
like there's a deep grumbly chuckle from his throat. And he, it's just a smirk and says, I see that. Anyway, town, I'm going to go get myself some clothes and see if they have a cigar in town anywhere. And I will be right back. You guys can figure out what's going on, and I will see. Anyway, I'll be right back. He heads down the gangplank and out into town.
I'll walk up to Kiva and give him a. Well, it's not a small. Well, it's a small figurine, but it's a little bit of a bigger kobold. Yeah, sorry. And I will give him an image of her, a image of her brother in a wooden figurine. Something to remember him by.
Horgold, this figurine is slightly different than you remember it. The it is now a like you never took the time to get it painted. It is fully colored as if painted, but there's no evidence of like paint. It's the wood itself is colored, and the tip of the spear and the in his right hand and the eyeballs are both very small rubies.
Um, I think I'll do an Arcana check on that myself, quick, or something like that.
Yeah, go ahead and give me your Arcana roll. It's magical.
I've never seen it, so I don't know what it is.
I'll still give it away.
Thank you. But if he is a god, I was a paladin of Daha. Oh boy. Gruntos. You had to. This is so typically.
Well,
would I have
I
something
think he
done
just
as
wants
well,
to be
maybe.
bigger.
God damn it.
Look at it this way. What more trouble could he get into?
Honest answer to that, I say.
Are you sure you want to know that?
Well, I guess there's not much I can do other than spread his word, I guess.
Yeah, maybe we find a way to talk to him again at some point.
Well, at least it explains the holy symbol that changed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. I point at Hollock and say, do you remember his holy symbol, his energy? He seems to have changed, like, a righteous way, and you as a previous paladin, maybe you can figure it out.
Previous, I am a paladin.
Yeah, she's
Right.
still a paladin.
Fine. As a paladin, you might figure out how what he is or what he has become.
Kiva, you see emblazoned upon Hollock's armor a very familiar holy symbol.
That, I point at it, is the symbol of Daha. What I used to have.
Oh, wondered what that was.
All right. So after you guys get a chance to kind of catch up, Bowen comes back carrying a small parcel in his hand, and he's wearing like leather breeches, leather shoes, a nice like buttoned shirt. His hair is, it looks like maybe he dipped his head in the water and had a comb and combed it down. He's looking much more put together. And he fishes a he's got a breast pocket in his shirt. He reaches into it, pulls out a long cigar, fairly narrow, much narrower than those of you who've seen him in the past that he's seen. He kind of looks at it, makes a small grimace face, sticks it in his mouth, and his smoke starts wisping forth from his mouth. He takes a deep breath in through his nose, breathes out a heavy, breathes out heavily, and says, "All right, this will do, I suppose. So, somebody said that that they would like a favor."
A favor could be good and nice.
I think that's definitely linked out of character to you, Fertros.
Yes, I know. Problem is,
Okay.
I don't know which favor. Out of character, I don't know which favor.
To get us to the place faster.
There you go.
With the ship, right?
Yes.
Yep.
But we
Well-
first had to go to another place.
Where do we first need to go to?
Stop by Kirsch to
Kirsch, yes.
get the cannon instead of our ballista.
Oh, right, Kirsch. Well, could you help us reach Kirsch and then reach the other city where we are going to assemble to attack Ook of Earth of no Ook. Is there a way you could transport us faster there with the ship and all?
I was gonna say a teleportation circle works wonders, but you want to take the ship as well.
Yes, because
Yeah.
the ship is a very huge asset that we can use. We get an upgrade on the weapons, and it will be very handy in the upcoming.
He looks at the ship and looks at all of you and
Oh,
says,
right. You might not know this. And I start walking up towards the controls to like let it hover a little bit out of the water and then touch it back.
well, yes, no, that's super okay. That makes it easier. So how fast can this thing move?
It was 1 block on the map per week, but I don't know how
Um,
fast that would be a game.
In description, it's about on the order of like 5-6 miles an hour.
Oh,
It's
that's like
Did we-
50% faster than normal.
it's a little
Were we
faster than walking.
able? Were me and Strix able to make it faster already with our?
Not yet.
Okay.
You've been real busy at not being on the ship.
Uh-huh.
Says well, depends. Okay, so
Are we
yes,
sure that it still flies after the incident with the two, whatever that was?
I just tried to let it fly. I don't know if it worked, but
It'll
it
be
works. You
fine.
guys spent some time repairing this thing, and
We repaired it. Yeah.
and yes, it seems to be flying. Striggs, you are not as skilled at piloting this as Grunthos was, but you're still able to like get it up get it up out of the water, move it around a little bit. So 4 or 5 miles an hour. I don't. Sam Lander doesn't know how many that is in kilometers per hour, or whatever.
that's fine.
Times 1.5.
Yeah, it's something like that. He says, well, if you have a heavy enough rope and it's long enough, then yes, I think I can make it go faster, but he looks at Verdros, looks at Kiva, looks at all of you, looks at the symbol burned into the floor, kind of takes another heavy sigh. Those of you who are anywhere downwind of him, like there's a definite heat to this eye. And he says, all right, what do we got for rope?
I have an immovable rod. If
I-
that can help.
That's exactly the opposite of what we need right now.
Okay.
I
Yes.
had
Basically,
a ship rope that I brought on board when we were back in Auckland, but I'm not sure if they trashed it or not.
can you trash a rope?
I don't know.
You among the stuff here, you do find a probably inch thick or more sisal rope that has been cut into about 300,000 pieces.
Great. So yes, you can trash a rope. I have 50 feet hempen rope and 10 feet of string. To
I
reinforce
can
it
use
with.
mending. I can use mending on that rope to fix it.
Very
Kiva
good.
looks over the edge to the docks. Is there any place to buy a rope rope for the ship in town?
This
Yeah,
is not like a port town, though. It's like
No, we need to have some supplies anyway.
true.
He's like, well, the shops are just opening up. I mean, I got some clothes and some. They're called cigarellos, and I'm not sure that I enjoy this. So probably.
Can I use prestidigitation to slightly alter the taste to a more heavy taste?
He's like, thank you, little one, but no, it's. I don't. Okay, it's just not right. It's not the right size. It's not the right. Just
I guess.
I'll find.
Well,
They grow the on our way. They grow the stuff to make this in the south, and I'll be able to find what I need there.
Do I understand that he referenced the southern continent, or
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go in town to look for ship supplies that at least last us to Kurt.
You're able to, without too much trouble, find a place on the docks that supplies the barges that go up and down the river. They have as much ship's rope as you can carry, more even. Is probably on the order of five.
Can I go with?
Yeah, it's probably on the
And
order
I'll
of
use-
like 5 copper a foot.
I'll use a floating disc to carry our stuff.
All right. Yeah, probably.
Can I try to persuade them in a discount?
Give me a charisma roll. Not save.
Persuasion?
Yeah, persuasion. There you go. Sure, they'll give it to you for 3 copper a foot.
Whoa.
Full purchase discount.
So you guys, 500 pounds. That's a lot. There's just. So. I wonder.
DM is
Fosca.
typing. That doesn't sound good. Yeah,
There are 2 of you on the ship.
Yeah,
I know. I can't get the other one gone. I can't lead them.
Nope. How do you spell Sisal? Does anybody know?
Sisal.
Okay. Sisal rope strength. So we're talking inch thick. 5,000 pounds breaking. Oh, yeah. Weight. 0.27 pounds per feet. So 500 pounds divided by 0.27. 500. You can get up to, call it, 1,800 feet of rope onto your disc if you want. And they have
we don't need
that much
that
here.
much.
Yeah, I know you don't need that much. I'm saying they have that
Okay.
much here to take if you want it.
I don't have much money, so you're gonna have to decide how much we need for gold.
60 feet will do.
Uh,
Do 120 feet if they have.
Yeah, they have 120 feet. So 360 copper. So 3 brass, 6 bronze.
I'm going to pay it.
I'm giving the 7 bronze.
Okay.
Okay. I'm giving the 3 brass.
All right, you guys have yourself a whole bunch of ship's rope.
And now we want to keep supplies, food, water.
They have that available as well. Just you can buy it at the rations cost, whatever that is in the PHP. I don't know off the top of my head.
Would
Good.
now be a good idea to say, I can make food and water.
That would be a good idea to say.
But are you with
Yeah.
us?
That is handy.
Do I see any fruit-bearing trees?
Here at this time of year, none of them have fruit on them. But as far as like trees that can bear fruit, there's pears and apple trees around. But they have just flowered.
Okay, but can I push the growth along and make them bear fruit?
Do you have a spell that does that sort of thing? I don't know if that exists. Probably.
I'm thinking perhaps plant growth.
There you go. That would do it. Plant growth, 1 action or 8 hours. Spell channels vitality and plant specific area to. All plants with a 100-foot radius become thick and overgrown. Oh yeah, absolutely can cause a plant to go through 2 seasons worth of growth. Probably just one tree. But yeah, you can hold your hand on an apple tree for 10 seconds basically, and you guys see it like the leaves, like the flowers fully bloom open and then like close. It starts setting on small apples, and you just see this like rapid acceleration over the course of probably 3 or 4 minutes, and this tree bears heavily apple, just bears apples heavily, and they are bright and kind of mottled green red and juicy and tart.
Now we have apples.
Yeah. Dessert.
I gather some apples.
Right. Yes, you absolutely can. Like there are barrels of apples on this tree.
I help you carry.
Talking about
If
barrels.
we get the most heavy stuff, can I head back to the ship?
Yeah, talking about that, I'm just gonna buy from the adventurers guide or the adventurers gear, like bedrolls, some baskets, some barrels, and stuff like that. Blankets, just to get the ship in a better condition again.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
I'll give you 30 brass to help if.
Okay.
Nope, just standard PHP prices, pretty much whatever you want. This is the town before Kartuk, so it's got pretty much everything available here. Indeed. So you guys gather up stuff. Probably by noon, you've got all of this stuff. And Bowen is working with probably Striggs. And why are there two Verderoses on here?
Finally.
Because I couldn't
Okay.
delete the other one.
Probably Striggs and Hollock, and he's just like, once you guys bring this rope back, he's helping you make a harness as far as you can tell, but like telling you where to tie knots and how long to make lengths and so on and so forth. And you're left with this fairly complex mesh of ropes, and then 3 lengths of rope tied off to the bowsprit, basically where the bowsprit joins into the hull. And it has this 120 feet of rope is completely like used up. But the way this is made, with his instruction, actually, could I get a crafting?
Survival?
So no, intelligence. If you have any
Just
crafting
normal.
abilities.
I
There
don't
isn't a
have
crafting
anything.
skill.
Right.
Investigation is intelligence. History, Arcana, things like that.
Intelligence or dexterity, Hollock and Striggs. $14 and $15. So yeah, without having to like make any cuts, you guys spend probably the morning while everybody else is out shopping, making this. It looks like a harness of sorts, on a truly incredible scale. And he's like, "All right, I'm ready to go whenever you are."
Question.
Yes.
Would it help if I cast Gust of Wind?
No.
Okay.
We don't have sails.
Yeah, but it could be easier to fly or to do when it's a backwind.
Perhaps once we get going, but the problem with magical effects like that is they're generally very limited in length, and we have
Basically, it's 1 second you would be outside of the range of that effect.
we have what he does the mental math. You guys say we're right outside Kartuk.
I'll probably be casting control weather at least once a day at the end of our day's travel, since it's a 5 mile radius.
Do there. Bring the players to this. All right. He's like, all right. So we've got, if we're going to Kirsch first, you guys said we need to go there. We got a couple 100 miles to cover. Let's see. Each square is about 20 miles. No, it's not quite that far. 5, 2, 3. It's only like 80 miles. We got about 100 miles to cover. Somewhere. It's a week's journey. Each day is 20 miles. A week is 7 days. Brain fart. 140 miles. It's about 3 squares. So 140, 300, probably 500 miles to Kirsch. Ish. So we'll see if I can break any sailing ship records between here and there. Let me know when you guys are fully stocked up, and we'll get going.
I start stowing everything away and putting everything on a tight leash so nothing can fly away.
I do
I'll get the
suggest
ship ready.
tying things down.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
he grins at you.
I'll get the ship ready.
Yell around. Everybody ready? No response.
I'm
None?
ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Rix, take her up.
Onward.
All right,
At
he's
Torgold's sign, I'll try and lift it up.
all right. Give me a dexterity check, please.
Just dexterity. Can I make it an 18 on the dice for
You
my
can.
divination?
You absolutely can.
Just dexterity is +3, so that's 21.
All right, so Striggs in his first real piloting, he gets you guys like smoothly up out of the water, gets you to a height of a couple 100 feet without any real problem. Like, you made it look easy.
Yay!
And
Good
he's
job,
like,
Strick.
all right, so Striggs, I need you to remain at the controls to make sure this thing doesn't run into the back of me. Everybody else, I suggest being below deck, at least at first. We'll see how this goes. And he casts a spell and steps off the front of the ship.
I'll stay
Can
in
I
the
make
Rix.
sure?
What's-
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do,
So,
do I recognize the spell?
levitate.
Okay.
Can I use Mage Head to keep me in place?
Mage Hand only does like 5-ish pounds. You can
10 pounds. Yeah.
like tie
It's just
yourself
to
something or
to like hold me in the back so I don't
Yeah.
like fall back. I'll use my own strength as well, of course.
right. Yeah.
I'll stay with Strix as well.
All right. So
I'm
And I
below deck.
order everybody to go below deck.
So those of you on deck get to see the sight of him like levitating out to the very extent of this rope, and then get to see a form of a dragon forming up at the very end of this harness, and you can see that the harness is arranged in such a way to let him comfortably like fits over one claw, like his back left foot, comfortably, lets him still move it around and do stuff with it, but it he doesn't have to like actively hold on to it. And he is just this mind-numbingly large red dragon is hovering without flapping his wings before you.
Does this remind me of the dream I had of about Ook, where the red dragon and the bolt of energy came down on him? if you still remember.
So the dragon in your dream was this size, but you didn't get a clear vision of the color.
Yeah. Right.
But
Oh.
but yeah, every bit as big as this. So
Right.
he is. I don't think it really gives a scale anymore in the monster manual, but gargantuan, I
just-
believe, is the correct size category.
Yep.
He's as big as dragons get. For those of you who have studied dragons, he's as big as dragons get.
Ancient boy.
Yes, and
I wouldn't call him a boy.
Yeah, I know.
you see like in his around his muzzle and in his flanks and like he has a mane of scales that go from his crest down his back, or like scales, like horns, like mane of horns going down his back. There are like most of his scales are like bright red, luxurious, and there's like patches of slightly less bright, just kind of dullish, just little patches, and anybody who's up here on deck can give me a knowledge history roll. That would be as appropriate as anything. 22, 15, 17.
I'm not on deck.
Striggs, you think that he is a dragon past his prime, but not weak or anything, but definitely Horgold and Earth, he big and scary. Strix, he's a dragon past his prime. Not unhealthy, but he's a 65 or 70-year-old man, as opposed to like a 55-year-old man. And yeah, he spreads out wings that are 3 times as wide or more than this ship is long. And he like flaps them down in a like, and it's like there's this inevitability of motion, so he doesn't accelerate very fast, and you can tell as he starts building up speed, he the like levitation spell starts slowly wearing off. There's like an inevitability of motion to him that something this big should not be able to fly like this, but you think there's more than just physics involved. There's definitely some level of inherent magic to keeping him in the air. And yeah, you guys are quickly moving. Like there wasn't a sudden jolt of acceleration. There was a few kind of chunks as that first couple of wing beats happened, but you guys are start covering ground, and he starts climbing, kind of motions with one of his front claws to you, Striggs, to follow his ascent. And you guys start climbing. You're up 500,000 2,000 feet off the ground, and he gets kind of a cruising speed going, and you're going about twice as fast as you have ever covered ground in this boat before.
Does my character know what would be fastest on the ship, decelerating or going up or going down or left or right?
The ship has the flight ability perfect, so it moves the same speed no matter which direction it's flying in.
Right.
So there's some skill involved in doing that, but yeah, you can slow down as fast as you can speed up as fast as you can go up or down.
Can I, if Verdros comes up, can I ask him to message Bohan to say that if something goes wrong, Bohan goes down and we go up?
If you send me a message, I can come up.
I cannot do message, so
You have a whisper ring.
Oh, right. I have whispering. I'll use my whispering to ask for Verdros to come up. I forgot.
I'm coming up. What
Right.
do you want, Mistrix?
Oh, can you message Bowen that if something goes wrong, that he goes down and we go upwards, so we can avoid each other?
I message him in exactly those words.
You get a response in Draconic. This
I can speak Draconic.
this voice fills your head in like it's too large. You think it's leaking out your ears. It's so much voice. He says, "Sounds like a good plan."
I relay the message to Strix
and-
in comments.
Thank you.
And he's still like, at this point, he's still like beating his wings hard. Like you can see every push is an attempt to gain more speed, but he's unable to drag the ship any faster than this currently.
Are our sails down?
Well, yes, you don't have any sails. You have all of the like. There's wind whistling through the
Got it.
rigging above deck. Now there's a fair breeze.
I just wanted to make sure so we're not tearing apart our sails.
No. All right. So he will proceed to fly the ship for 8 hours a day at twice the speed you guys could handle otherwise. So that all in all, what that works out to is about 50% faster than your normal. Because you could fly the ship beforehand, like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He can drag you for about 8 hours.
Right.
So 8 hours dragging, then the rest we gonna need to fly ourselves, and then after a few hours rest, he can drag us again.
Right.
How much rest does he need, approximately?
About 8 hours.
Okay.
I mean, just like make it a full day, right? Like 8
Yeah.
hours flying a day that he can do.
8 hours. 8 hours of like sleeping. 8 hours of dragging, and 8 hours of he leaves the ship, and you don't want to ask any questions about where he's getting all of the calories for this.
Right. It did seem
He's
magical,
resting.
right?
If he's resting, can he just rest on the ship in
Yeah.
normal human form?
Yep.
Is that enough for him, or does he need to be dragon form? Okay.
He lets you know that he doesn't need to be dragon form. He is perfectly happy to have the captain's quarters to sleep in.
Hey, I still have my own quarters, so I don't care.
Me neither.
I mean, wasn't that
I like
Grantos's
sleeping on the
quarters?
stars.
They're now Kiva's.
All right.
I don't know which quarters I was given.
Hey, oh. Look a little bit up. When you're going to find quarters, I show you Grantos's.
So he takes over these quarters. There are 1, 2, 3 other. No, that's like an office space.
So he stole mine.
Where are you? Where's yours?
He was asleep. Horgold was sleeping in there. So yes, he stole yours.
Ah. Suddenly Horgold is getting awake.
So Striggs and Verdros, you may now start making your alteration to the ship checks.
What was the Arcana?
Yes.
Oh,
It's gonna be 50% faster, so this would normally be 1 week per square, so it's 3 weeks per 2 weeks per 3 squares, so it's about 2 weeks to Kirsch. All right, so Arcana from Verdros. What's the history for, Striggs?
Oh, sorry, it's the same Arcana as Arcana, the bonus. So
Oh,
if you want, I can reroll.
Same bonus?
Yep, same bonus, both +10.
All right, so that's a definite. I'm gonna call that a pair of successes. Do you know how many successes you
We
guys
are at
needed?
4
How many
of
did you
10.
need?
It's 10 it says. Total
Okay.
10. We are at 4. Well, now it's 6 then.
And was it once per week or once per day?
If I remember, once per long rest of research, but
So
I could be wrong.
You have 14. You can roll up to 14 times.
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
let's
do the
roll.
correct roll now.
You got 2 weeks. Give me.
Okay, I'm going
Let
to
me
let
know.
you do
Let
it.
me know when you get to 10. And don't
I'm
get under. Don't get under a 10. Oh, there's.
I can use advantage or my inspiration
You
for
can
the
use your
failure.
inspiration.
But one of them. Wait, how far am I now? Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more.
One more. There you go.
Okay, now me. So I've got 1.
Plus 7. Wow.
That's 10.
All right. One, two, three. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Like 5 days in. In the morning before Bowen has gone out front. You guys have figured this out. And you're like, okay, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of rework on this ship.
Yep.
And the first thing you need to do is cut all of the rigging for the sails. And the second thing you need to do is unstep the masts and dump them over the side.
Can we notify the rest so that I can still fly while they're working on it?
The ship has to be like stable. Like you might want
Shouldn't we
you might
first-
want to
Not
put it on the
flying.
ground for this.
Right.
Shouldn't we first notify the rest about this before we
Yes.
start cutting everything?
Nah. Just cut everything down. No.
I don't know. Can I use persuasion on everyone?
I'm up to this is role playing to you guys.
Oh.
I'll start getting an axe and start cutting on where I think it's needed. I don't know if someone
Um,
tries to stop me, but
Isn't
will
this
stop you.
something?
during
Yeah.
rest. So.
Are you stopping, Horgold?
What are you doing? Why are you cutting at the?
Oh,
Me and Strix, we did a little bit of research to the flying part of the ship, and we found a way to make the ship fly faster.
Okay.
With an axe.
To do
And?
that, we need to cut all the ropes and cut down the mast.
You don't have to like chop down the mast with an axe, but you need to unstep them. Basically, get them.
Just deconstruct it. Is that what
So
you mean?
Why
Yes.
don't we take the ship apart properly instead of cutting at it?
I mean
That you have to know, ask Strix about. I
Isn't
just
isn't this something that would be good to do when we're in Kirsch? Weren't
If
we
we're gonna
going to
do it at
Kirsch to
all,
do?
I just wanted
It
to
would
have
be
it be
faster to
faster.
get to Kirsch, apparently. But if we land the ship and take the mast off the proper way, we won't have a big, jarring, sharp, pointy thing in the middle of the ship.
and why do
Totally
you want to
agree,
cut
or-
off the ship?
we're not
Do
gonna
something,
cut
clean
it
that
up. We're going to disassemble a part of the ship to make it even faster.
Fine,
You
I'll sigh
cut the
disappointed
mast
and I'll
off
head
with
back.
the axe. You're gonna have this little piece sticking up.
Fine, I'll just lay my axe down.
If you take it off at the points where it's attached, you can take the whole thing off and then patch the hole.
We're not gonna take anything off. If you take down the mast or something like that, it's not a ship anymore.
But it'll be faster.
Of course, it's a ship. It remains
Many
a ship.
ships don't have masts.
Yeah.
Of course, most of those ships do tend to use other forms of propulsion.
See
But
barges.
we are also using different parts of propulsion because we're flying, so we're not using the mast with sail.
We don't have a galley full of humans to propel the ship.
We do have magic.
Yeah.
I know. But
What
it's
if
not
we
a
need
ship,
the
still a
mast
ship.
for something later on?
Fine.
To disguise ourselves or anything. We shouldn't just drop it overboard. Maybe we can make it foldable or something.
Is it enough to just take the mast out and lay it on the deck, or do we actually need to?
Yeah, so as long as the basically as long as this like 100-foot tall thing isn't sticking out into the wind stream, that will help. So the short answer is the people who built this ship were thinking of it as a sail ship that also flew. With a little bit of time and effort, you guys are thinking about this as a ship that flies.
A barge that can fly without sail.
You're gonna have to redo some of the like control magic to not use the sails anymore as part of the control thing. But yeah, you
If
can.
I'd known that, then I wouldn't have started doing it with the axe because I needed to rework that.
Oh, it was hilarious.
True. So we can just take it apart and lay it on the ship, on the deck, so we don't have to dump it or anything.
Wrap it to the deck so it's still in one piece.
Yeah. So if we need it as a sail again, we can always reassemble everything, and it's a ship again.
Yeah, so the
I
the
might be agree to that.
the main mast after you guys unstep it is literally the length of this ship.
But you can make it down in parts, right?
It's
not like one thick.
it's actually yeah, this sort of ship the main mast would probably have
It's mostly in
it's
different
mostly one thing that's about the length of the ship, and then there is a separate section on the top that is about half the length of the ship. The fore and aft masts are about the length of the ship, so you guys are now left with the basically 4 mast pieces left laying on the deck. Can't really fit them below deck very well, but you could sort them around onto basically bridging the forecastle and the quarterdeck.
Walking planks.
Basically walking planks from the front to the back.
Okay.
Um,
I make sure they are secured.
So you guys do this. You secure them. You're left with like hundreds of feet of half-inch-ish twine or rope. Not twine. It's technically rope. Coiled up in one of the holds. It takes you like 8 hours, 10 hours to do this. It helps that you have a flying dragon to actually help like crane the masts out. Not something you think you would want to do without a actual crane, without the help of a dragon. But yeah, the next day he starts and you guys are able to accelerate much faster, and you are the maximum speed becomes basically twice as fast as you were before, and you still get that 50% bonus with the dragon pull.
Nice.
I asked Bowen if it goes smoother now in Draconic.
He's like, yes, it's much easier to pull, much lighter in the wind.
Can he pull us longer now?
Faster.
He can pull you faster, but 8 hours is a long time to fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try running for 8 hours.
Hey, I can only ask now, can I?
He could probably pull for longer if he didn't go faster.
Right.
But it kind of, yeah.
So
We need the speed right now.
so you guys take a week to go, or two. It's about a week and 2 days to get to Kirsch. So 16 days. So you guys arrive in Kirsch on the 18th of Carnelian. It is evening. And by this time he's like made a giant yawn of entirely too many teeth and tipped his he doesn't wear a hat, but tipped his hat basically at you and headed below deck. You guys are flying over the city of Kirsch at probably 500 or more feet, and basically invisible to the ground.
Do we want to go down without our masks, or do we want to put up the mask first? Next thing in the morning? Does this ship fly when we sleep? Just like stay steady?
You can point it in a direction and have it just continue in that direction at whatever speed, or you can like have it stay still, or all of those are options. But you can't.
I would still have someone be on guard. So
Well, of course, we have a guard rotation, right?
yeah.
Like you can't tell it to go 500 feet. You can't tell it to go for like 10 miles in one direction and then turn and then do.
No,
it's you point it in a direction and you set a speed.
Okay, good. Well, since we're above the city already, I'll while we still can, well, I still can. While I'm on guard duty, I'll try and get it as close straight over the sea just outside of Kirsch, next to the port. And
That's it's not really hard.
right, and then just let it stay steady there for the rest of the night.
All right. The night falls. It's the morning of the 19th of Carnelian. Sunrise, like the sunrise is strange because you can see much further over the horizon than normal, and so you have this vast, like the world looks vast. You're 1,000 feet above the ground. So sunrise happens earlier in the day than you expect it to by like 5-ish minutes or something like that. And yeah, you the sunrise is you said you were casting once per day weather thing.
Control weather.
Okay. Just for clear weather basically.
And if we were move the wind in that direction for 5 miles,
Okay.
hey, it's something. And clear weather, correct. But I'm not sure if you can do both. Otherwise, it would just be the wind direction.
Stage by up one, down one, change the wind, change direction, participate. Okay, so you're able to keep it. You choose a whether or not it's raining and whether or not it's windy, basically.
Yeah.
You're able to choose like calm. I mean, springtime. Meh. We'll say it's fair weather anyway, or fair enough weather anyway. And yeah, no, it's just a calm morning. Bowen walks out on deck early in the morning and says, "All right, I'm gonna go into town, find myself some breakfast and some lunch." He points at Verdros. He knows how to get a hold of me when you guys are ready to move out again. And he steps.
Thank you very much.
He steps off of the deck, and there is you see his form, and a thing that large should not be able to make that small of a splash as it enters the water. Like he is ginormous, and he dives into the water as a dolphin ducks between waves.
I mean, he probably did use that levitation thing again to not like enter us fast. I'll chalk it up to that in my mind.
Give me a oh shoot, what is it? The thingy that the thingy that lets you know a thing about what a person is doing.
Insight.
Insight. Thank you. Give me an insight check. 14. You think he might be showing off.
Right. If I notice that, if I do it on time, I'll clap just before he enters the water. I don't know if he'll hear it, but
all right. So he disappears into the water. If you're paying very close attention up on the dock, you can see him like step out, like arrive, like you see this large dark form like swimming, like moving through the water, and then you see it like start cresting up, and then there's just this like man stepping onto the dock, completely dry, steaming slightly, and walking into town.
Ah, that's a hero intro.
Or a show off intro.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same?
So, yeah, we need to go into town as well with the boat.
Yeah,
Do we
'cause
want to get the mast up again, or because it's
Maybe
gonna be
it would-
harder now?
It would be best to sail into it.
Well, we don't have a mast anymore.
We can put the mast back up.
Uh,
How long does it take?
Probably at least a day, and
Yeah.
without a dragon's help, probably 2 or 3.
So
It's
then
not
we
easy.
lost our speed benefit.
No, we can still use magic to go faster.
No, he means the speed benefit that we took to get here fast.
You mean the
Let-
dragon?
Let's just boat in without a mast.
Sure.
All right,
Go straight down a little bit outside the port, of course.
right.
They'll probably be able to see us because I don't judge that distance too well. And then I'll go towards the port.
Give me a dexterity roll, please.
Since I don't want to fuck this up, can I make it a 16 on the roll plus 3 for my dexterity is 19?
Absolutely. So again, Striggs like gracefully settles the boat into the waves and pilots the boat, the ship, to the dock, and pulls up into a dock slip, and like deftly arrives just enough to like gently bump the dock with the side of the ship, and you know, people throw lines, tie off the boat, and yeah, so the portmaster is like walking over and says, how long you guys gonna be in town?
We
He's-
are
As-
expected, and we should be having a rig fixed to our ballista fixed to our.
He eyebrows. Who can I say is expecting you? It's a bronze a day to dock.
Magda was expecting us to retreat, to get back, and to ready our ship with us.
So the ruler of the city is expecting you to come.
Can I whisper in the ring, Magda? Someone here doesn't really want to believe you at the docks that we are here to back in town to get our ballistas repaired and made and fit cannons and stuff.
So you guys are arguing with this guy for like a little bit, and you get a response. Striggs is like, "I'll be down there shortly." And
Thank you very much.
And yeah, Verdros, you're plying him with everything and explaining this, and like he's now asking you about the ship and how it sails without any sails, and is it some sort of magic, and how does the magic work, and you just like he is wrapping you guys into verbal circles until he feels a hand on his shoulder. You guys watch her walk up behind him. And she just rests a hand on his shoulder and says, "Don't worry about the docking fees. I will cover them."
I start to chuckle.
Good
And-
to see you again.
She smiles at you with entirely too many teeth. It's good to see you as well. Bowen said hello as he walked through town. He seemed tired and hungry. Says you said you guys were here.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
We got back. I don't know if Leifalis already got in contact with you. I whispered the name Leifalis.
She kind of gives a half nod and kind of makes a semi shushing motion.
Yep.
All right.
I'll drop it.
All right. So It's an interesting thing you've done with your ship. But anyway, let's see what we can fit on here. And she fingers one of the other, like one of the rings on her hand. Says something under her breath, and then nods at all of you and says, "All right, shipmaster should be here in about an hour. And he'll see what he can fit to your deck."
Great
Thank you
news.
very much. Do you have some guards that you trust that can protect the ship while we're here?
Is she nods and says, "Yeah, the city watch will guard the ship. No worries."
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
She
I have a question.
and what is that, little one?
My brother sent me a letter asking for help for a big battle. I did find some few 20 to 30 people. I was trying to figure out how to let people know, and all of a sudden, I was with these guys on the ship.
She nods.
So they're in Auckland,
Okay.
probably freaking out.
I have an agent in Auckland who should be able to talk with him. Who should I say sent my agent?
If you tell them that Kiva sent them, they should respond favorably.
She nods. All right, Kiva, it is. I will let them know where you are, and I will get them organized to help out where they can.
Maybe also let them know that Kiva is okay.
Yes.
Oh, Magda. If I remember, I asked you to prepare some documents in the library relating to liches and undead gods and stuff like that.
She nods.
Is it already ready, or is it too short of a time between then and now?
Yeah, no. We've got what we could find.
Oh, great. I'll be heading off then. Before I do, though, Hollock, maybe you want to check the basement, since I think you had some kind of link to that, right? I don't know if that's still there.
In the ship?
Yes. And I'll head off.
I asked Strix if I can accompany him to
Sure.
read the book. Okay. Then I'll go with you.
All right.
Split the party.
All right, so you guys head to the library. Hollock, you go below deck. The ring is gone.
I'll stay on deck waiting for the harbor master.
All right. Yeah, the oh shoot. Fey ring is no longer in the prow of the ship. There is no real evidence that it ever was there. Like, there's no damaged wood or anything else. It's just an empty locked room, or was locked, but it is now an empty room.
So no unexpected visitors.
Not by that method.
All right. So about an hour later, we'll harbor the whatever master first. About an hour later, the ship's whatever the proper term is, person who builds ships,
Shipwright.
Comes over and looks at the ship and says, "What happened to all your rigging? I mean, I can see it here, but why isn't your rigging where your rigging goes?" Shipwright, thank you.
The both guys who were making this change have gone.
Because
Just
reasons.
make space. Just see what you can fit on the ship. No question asked. I thought that Magda made that clear.
Well, not. I want. Okay. So, without the rigging there might be some concerns about stability in high seas, depending on where we mount the cannons. So, I just wanted to make sure that this is like normal for this ship.
This is the new normal for
just
this ship.
it's normal, but just make sure it keeps stable. Not too much weight on the front and no weight on the back and stuff like that. So
All right,
maybe we need some on the thing on the back.
Balance it.
So he looks your ship over. He spends some time on it and he starts making like sketch drawings. He looks the draft isn't right. Is the draft right? This doesn't seem right. It is too high out of the water, and it's way more stable than it should be for how high out of the water it is.
Oh, it's right.
Oh, okay. Well, that's he makes some more notes. He goes below decked, and then he looks up and he goes, "Oh," and
Do I need to remind you again that you are on orders from Magda?
no. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So I think we can fit, and he makes some notes. 4 on the mid deck. We can fit. If we do a little bit of ballast readjustment, we can fit 2 on the forecastle. And we can fit. No, we can't really fit. And he looks at the quarterdeck. I can't really fit anything on the quarterdeck because of the pilot's thing there. But if we do a little bit of rearranging of the ballast in the main part, we can fit you with up to 6 cannons. The 2 on the forecastle can. I'll leave it up to you if you want them pointed forward or to the sides, and then the 4 on the quarterdeck we can point to the sides.
Yeah. I
Alright.
think. Can you make the ones on the fossil swivel so we can make them forward or to the side?
Yeah, I can put some tracks in the into the decking to kind of help you with that, but it's gonna be like it's a lot of weight to shift. So I mean, yes, I can do that. You just need to set up some ropes and stuff to move the things around, and it won't be a fast process. But yep, absolutely. So, game terms, you guys are going to have 6 cannons, 3 on a broadside if you want, and I need to look up what D&D cannon of ships and cannons. There we go. That seems about right. 5e. Let's see if I can find some decent rules for. Probably
siege damage, siege weapons.
Yeah, I would say there. So 6 would be 18 pounders. So somebody write this down. It is plus 6 to hit. Does not. So it's just uses a flat plus 6. Doesn't matter your dexterity. Could use a piloting check to get advantage on that, dependent upon who's piloting and how good they are at it. Range of 600/2400 feet. And hit does 8d10 damage. These are all magical, so the damage they do is bludgeoning and magical. Hitting something that is smaller than a ship automatically confers disadvantage on the roll, because it's hard to like find target with this sort of thing. But like I said, with if you have a good piloting check, the pilot could give you advantage on the roll. So that could cancel out the disadvantage on the roll if you are trying to hit something smaller than, like a broadside of a barn or a building or another ship or something like that. And it has 3 per side.
Well, technically 2 on each side on the main deck, and then 2 at the front, right, which can swivel.
Right. So up to 3 per side, 2 on the main deck, 1 in the front, and then the ones in the front could be probably takes 3 rounds, can be swung around to be chasers.
Can we? I know it's an expensive tool, and I don't know if you have them in stock or in the city. But have a magnifying glass mounted on the 2 front ones to aim.
He goes. I don't. We could get there's probably eagle eye lenses in the city. Could work for, I think, what you want. Out of character, you're wanting something to make it easier to fire at something very far away.
And very small.
Yeah. Or small. If it doesn't move, at least.
Right. So you want a lens of is it lens of far vision or lens of eagle vision?
Well, a magnifying glass is default adventuring gear, but it costs 100 gold pieces, so I guess it's rare. A spyglass, that's even rarer, costs 1,000 gold pieces. So bronze here.
Yeah. So a magnifying lens wouldn't get you what you want. You would have to have either a spyglass or something magical.
Spyglass is twice of the size. I think the spyglass will do.
Yeah, a spyglass would work. He could fit a spyglass to one of the cannons pretty easily. The only problem would be like getting the range right. So
yeah.
And
they've probably not done it before, so we probably need to adjust it a little bit as well.
Yeah, this is not something he has done before. He's like, that's clever. Farsightedness lens. There's got to be something in 5th edition. No.
Not that I remember.
There was in Pathfinder.
Eyes of the Eagle is a spell.
Eye of the Eagle, Eyes of Minute Seeing.
Crystal lenses fit over the eye.
Crystal lenses fit over the eye. Ah, there we go. Eyes of the Eagle. It is uncommon. Wherein you have advantage on wisdom, perception checks rely on sight. Make out details extremely distant, as small as 2 feet. Okay, so Eyes of the Eagle would get you what you want with much less fiddling. And the cost of those would be about 5,000 brass. It would be available in city. But otherwise, yes, a telescoping just a normal telescope, 1,000 brass.
Yeah, I can pay the 1,000. The 5,000 is a little bit too steep even for me. I don't know if the party has some savings behind that I don't know of.
100 brass.
Don't we have a locked chest still? With money in there?
The chest is smashed, but the stuff is still there, yeah.
Correct.
4,000 brass worth of gems, basically, or 3,000 worth of brass and 1,000 3,000 worth of gems and 1,000 brass loose at 300 loose brass.
I can pay 1,000 as well. So that's 1 already.
Yeah, 1 is enough. Yeah, we only get 1, so.
Okay, so with Horgold, you and me each 500, and then using the ship's inventory.
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna deduct 10.
All right, so you guys get yourself a lens of far seeing, or rather eyes of the eagle, crystal lenses. So you can fit them in the prow. You have a wizard. You can have a wizard make this work.
I'm not there right now, so.
Yep.
What's it called? Eye of?
Eyes of the eagle. There we go. Okay, so this takes like he starts setting this up, and then he goes below deck and works on readjusting the ballast, and is a little bit concerned when he adjusts the ballast and it doesn't change anything, but then like remembers, hey, magical ship, comes back up to deck and starts like they start craning onto the deck these they for the players, these are cannons. Like, they're literally cannons. But I'll cover how they fire in just a little bit. But they look everything in the world like what you imagine an 18-pound cannon to look like. They are made of bronze. They have like bands, thicker bands of metal in them, pretty heavy. All right. So let's go ahead and go to Striggs and Vergeros. So,
right.
You guys head to the library. And give me a history roll as you're reading through this stuff.
Oh, bad roll.
You could use your inspiration, maybe.
There you go.
Do you have inspiration?
I don't know.
Probably do.
Nobody uses it.
Then I'm going to use the inspiration.
There you go. Make sure that if it's checked, you uncheck it.
Yeah. It is unchecked.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll again.
Okay, just a second.
There you go. That's better. 18. 18 and 22. I tell you what. So the next time I ask for a knowledge roll, write those rolls down. The next time I ask for a knowledge roll to learn something about or to know something about undead, or actually no, just keep them on hand. You can use that in substitution for whatever role I'm asking for. So it'd be knowledge religion, knowledge history, whatever, to know something about like undead or the lich or that sort of thing. So you spend some time, you write some stuff down, you take it with you. I don't know what else information I can actually give you right now because I don't know what you guys don't really know. If that makes
I was
sense.
also researching for a way to contain the effects of the spell and conceal it.
To take
gem.
Give me a knowledge religion.
Can I use one of my divination things?
Yes.
20 on the dice.
20 on the dice?
Yep. And it was history or arcana?
Religion.
Or religion. Religion is for me a plus 10.
So a
So
30?
A 30. Yes.
If you got at least 2 pounds of iron melted in a crucible, and basically encased the gem in this iron. You could negate the effect of the
Necrotic things.
the necrotic thing for a while. With a 30, the
Crit as well.
gemstone would eventually basically corrupt the iron and take it over and consume it and become a little more powerful than it currently is. Would take probably at least a year to do that. There are if you had at least 4 pounds of iron to do this with, you think you could lock the thing away for an indeterminate amount of time. You're not sure how much. The 4 pounds of iron would have to be crafted into something that the gemstone is then basically like. So you would have 2 pounds, this ball of 2 pounds of iron that's surrounding the gemstone. You would then take the other 2 pounds of iron, put that with the 2 pounds of iron around the gemstone, and you would craft it into an object, like a physical, useful tool of some sort. The problem of all of this is, if you try to craft something with 1 or more pounds of iron, the iron kind of takes on a will of its own, and it can basically become an artifact that does what it wants to do and has nothing to do with what you wanted to do with it. With a 30, you're going to need the direct intercession of a very powerful being to do this without letting the iron do what it wants to do instead, if that makes sense. So if you say had a friendly god who you could present this 4 pounds of iron and the gemstone to, they could help you work through this crafting. Even the 2 pounds, you're gonna have to have like a very powerful, say, fey creature, other planar creature, help you do this crafting. So it's not something you can just do. You're gonna have to have external help. Like maybe you could track down an angel to do it, help you out with it. An Iron Seeker could probably just do it, but you guys killed the last one of those that exists, as far as you're able to tell.
Do I? What do I want to ask again? Do I know if? Damn it. Well, first of all, how much is 4 pounds of iron worth, as in iron currency?
So currency-wise, each iron is worth 100 brass. It is 100. It is 100 coins in copper, bronze, and brass to a pound. Each iron coin weighs 1/2 of a equivalent bronze coin. So it is 100 times 4 times 200 is 4 zeros and 8. An 8 followed by 4 zeros. So 80 grand? Or 8.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, 80 grand. So if you had 80 grand worth of iron, if you had 40 grand worth of iron, you could contain this thing for at least a year, possibly longer. If you had 80 grand worth of iron, you could do it for indefinitely, but you're gonna in either way you're going to need the intercession of a extraplanar being of power. You think maybe a devil could do it, an angel, definitely a god. probably a Fae, but Fae don't like iron very much. They abhor it generally.
Does
Maybe
that also like weaken the god if you use enough of the iron to contain it? Not kill it, of course, but
So one of the things you guys learned is if the thing is contained for long enough,
right.
it's basically its will would fade away, and it would become a basically soulless statue in the place of power.
Anyway, I'll relay this information to Virgil. It's fine.
Right.
I'll just write it down.
Well,
Vergeros, through research and like what he learned from talking to Emberthorn and Daha, like figures this out and makes some very large intuitive leaps that make like you're like, oh, I see how the magic works, Vergeros. But you can tell that there were some big leaps in that like logic train
Right.
there.
I can bring us back to Emberthorn or the plane of the gods, so to speak. So that's not really an issue. And if he's willing to help us, he is also a fire god, so smelting wouldn't be an issue as well, I think.
Well, I remember clearly that there was a problem with them touching the gems, that I couldn't get the gems towards them.
So
He
the assistants
doesn't
wouldn't have to be
actually
like
need
them
to
touching things. It would
touch
be them like
In bestowing
directing
power.
directing your brain in very specific ways.
Yeah, guiding our hands, sort of.
Yes.
So that could work.
Yes. But for that, we need an enormous amount of iron.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to have someone sponsoring us with iron. Because I don't have 80,000
Oh, it's more.
in my pocket.
Twice as much. No, that's
80,
2 pounds. That's 2 pounds of it, right? No, 4 pounds.
80,000 is 4 pounds.
Yeah, we need 8 pounds.
Need 4 pounds.
Well, 4 pounds for the one that's at least a year, probably, possibly more.
2 pounds.
2
for
pounds
this year.
for a year and 4 pounds
Ah.
for indefinite.
What was the 8 pounds then?
I think
No.
your brain inventing something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a +1 shield. That's just a uncommon item. So that's in that 5,000 range, Hollock.
We need to get to 80,000.
PQRS. All right, let's go to Kiva and Hollock for a little bit.
+1 shields are uncommon.
Uncommon. All right, so yeah, so that'd be like
Looking
5
for
grand here in
prices.
town. So yeah, let's go. Kiva and Hollock, what are you guys doing?
Temple hopping? I don't know.
Yes, exactly. Temple hopping.
All right. There is no temple in town, Kiva, that has your holy symbol. The place that feels the most at home to you is the ruin of the temple of Farah.
Yeah, Farah.
Yes, Farah. So that place feels the most at home for you. But it's just a ruin. Like there's been some effort to clean it up. It's not dangerous. There's nothing like in danger of falling over or stuff here, but there's definitely like a place that there was a building here that is no longer here and it has not been rebuilt yet.
It doesn't look like anyone's trying to rebuild or clean up.
Clean up definitely, but not rebuild.
I just make an audible mental note. This is a good place for a temple for Ember Thorn.
Are my trees still there?
Yes. I vaguely remember you planting a tree there.
Yeah, I made trees grow to help free the people that
What?
might be not dead.
Wasn't that in Kartuk?
No, it was in Kirsch. Or was it in Kartuk?
Oh, okay.
It was in the collapse.
We were in Kartuk when it happened, so.
Oh no, that was in Kartuk. So this is in Kirsch. So there's a destroyed temple here as well.
Okay.
Sorry, my brain is conflating too many K words of towns, all of the same similarities. Yes, but there's a ruin of a temple here. Yeah, but yes, it feels right. It feels like the right place for a temple, Kiva.
Yeah, no, all the while we're walking, I'm discussing with Hollock all the nuances of religion and anything he has to ask. And take him hopping and definitely hopping by Daha's temple.
Paladin crash course.
Very much so. So you walk into Daha's temple. Kiva's explaining, like holy days and all of this sort of thing. And sitting on the wall, Hollock, an item catches your eye. It is a large shield, intricately, there's intricate scroll work and stuff covering it, and it kind of calls out to you.
In the Temple of Daha, just sitting on a wall.
Yeah, it's just attached to the wall.
Anyone near us right now?
No. There's some people up the front of the temple. It is, yeah. So there's a couple of priests around, but nobody's really paying attention to you.
Can I ask one of the priests what that shield is?
He goes, yeah, it's a magical shield. It's waiting for its owner to arrive.
Since when?
I don't know. Make an insight check, please. He looks confused. Kiva, you can make one as well with advantage, please. So Kiva, you get from this that the person who's saying this doesn't, their expression is, I have no memory of when that shield arrived, and the only thing I know about it is that it is waiting for its owner.
I tell Hollock this and just go see if is it. Do you feel pulled towards it?
I go investigate the shield.
It is as you approach it, you can feel a resonant hum from it, and as you reach out to grasp the edge of it, you hear a very familiar pleased laugh in your, I guess, in your soul is a way to put it. And the priest kind of blinks a couple times and says, "Oh, I guess you are the owner of it."
Nice.
It's good. It's good. It's good to have it. It's good to have. Um, it's good to not have any lost and found on hand, and everything back to where it should be.
All right. I carefully take it from the wall.
It is a game terms +1 large shield. No other effects. All right. So you guys continue to your paladin crash course. Like Kiva, this is not something. This has happened to you on occasion where you've found something special that you would normally like. Oh, this is a thing for the village to have, and before giving it back to the village, you're like, no, this is a thing that I am supposed to keep. All right. So we haven't checked in with. What are you up to, Earth? Or actually, we should correct your name because you have it back.
I do, but do they know what my name is? I don't
Nobody
think they
knows
do.
what your name is, but you're now allowed to say it.
I am.
Just a reminder. But yeah, what are you up to?
Oh, we made it into the city.
Yep.
What Earth do? I think I would look someplace to buy some pie.
There are several places that you can buy any sort of pie. They have meat pies and they have fruit pies and they have, fruit that's out of season, pies, and like you're thinking it's early spring. This is like apple pie. So either they have somebody like you who can make apples grow out of season, or they have somebody who can preserve apples for a long time, or that sort of thing. But yeah, there's absolutely places to buy pies.
I buy a pie. I buy an apple pie.
All right, so you have got yourself. It's like 3 copper for an apple pie at this time of year. It's like just warm, but just cool enough that a slice of it that's like just warm enough to still be like that warm apple pie, but just cool enough that it's like completely set, so it doesn't just fall apart if you cut into it.
I eat a slice of pie.
All right. So you wander the town eating pie. As evening comes around, you guys all gather back to the ship. They're still like finishing up fitting the thing. At seeing all you guys come back, he's like, "All right, I should show you how these work. I'll get the ammo loaded on tomorrow morning, but I've got a couple of rounds here. Can we go out to sea so I can show you how all of this stuff works?"
Sure.
All right. Take us out to sea. He's looking around kind of in confusion about how this is going to work.
I'll look at Strix.
We all look at Strix.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll just follow the instructions of our captain.
Take us to sea.
There you go.
All right. You guys head out. It's a gentle rolling surf. The ship don't care because it's not riding the waves, it's plowing through them. And he's like, this thing is much more stable than I expected. I'm not gonna argue with it, but I'm truly impressed. And you guys get a good mile or two out, and he says, "All right, please point the starboard side to the east, and I will get this. I'll get one of these cannons set up.
I'll turn the ship to where he directs.
All right. So, starboard east. He takes a canister. It's about okay, so sitting on the deck there are two stone, you're thinking some sort of stone ball, but that's been like expertly like sanded and smoothed and made round or somehow magically crafted. And they're just like in a coil of rope so they don't roll away. And sitting next to them are a probably 1 foot long canister. And he's like, okay, so what you do is you hold your hand on the back of the cannon like this, and he makes a like I can't do a good like he like holds 3 fingers, like he has a very specific hand hold, and he puts it on the back of the cannon, and the like back of the cannon swings away, and he's like, and then you lift this ball, and he kind of grunts as he lifts up an 18-pound it's a bowling ball sized stone about, and he loads it, he kind of rolls it into the cannon. He says, all right, and then you load this canister, and he puts the canister in behind it, and then you make the same symbol with your hand, and you push the door closed, and he does so, and then what you do is you say the magic phrase, he gives you a magic phrase, and touch the top of the cannon, and there is this is the loudest thing any of you have ever heard. Like your ears are ringing for seconds after this thing goes off. And the thing rocks back like 4 feet onto the deck, is restrained by like ropes that were kind of tied to the side of the deck, but it like swings back, puts tension on these ropes, and you hear as like the ringing in your ear subsides from the blast. You hear a just like a high pitched I can't whistle right now. Don't. Yeah, sound. And you this thing is you can see this like the ball moving at high speed out across the water. It barely seems to be dropping at all. It's moving so fast. It eventually like splashes into a wave, like splashes into and through a wave, and that like a lot of the energy of this like is in this plume of water, and then you see a second plume as it lands in the ocean behind it, and then it just disappears from sight.
Do I recognize the explosion as some sort of glyph of warding?
There's, as far as you can tell, the ball itself is like there's no.
No, I mean the canister thingy, right? Glyph of warding is on a surface thingy.
Oh,
There you go.
It's the canister
It can
has
do-
it's magical something or other. You think it's not really a glyph of warding.
It has explosive runes, so that's why I thought so.
Yeah, explosive runes is the closest thing that this is. But it's like triggered on a very specific set of things, and
that's glyph of warding as well.
Right. But there
So
was
that's why I thought-
there was no glyph on it.
Right. Okay. Makes
It's all
sense.
inside of this canister, and yeah, there's the canisters, the ball itself is not magical.
Right.
The canister is where all the magic is, well, other than the cannon itself. And he's like, all right, and then you get 2 people to pull on these ropes. He points at one of you guys to there's a rope on the other side of the cannon, and you basically can heave the cannon back in place with about 3 or 4 like 1 2 3 heave, 1 2 3 heave type things. All right.
Big force.
If one of you would like to go ahead and load up one of these other shells, I'll make sure you have it right.
I'll try it.
All right. Give me an intelligence roll with advantage. So you got this down. You make the right symbol with your hand. You put it on the thing. You do the load. You do the other thing. You stand in the right place so when this thing rocks back, it doesn't like take your feet off or your legs off. And he's like, all right, so a couple of things to let you guys know. Anybody who knows how these work, they're very standard. So it doesn't take any magical aptitude to make these things fire. It's like the guns that came out a few years ago. So basically anybody can make these work. So be careful if you store these loaded, be careful who you let on deck. The canisters.
Is there a way to put a protection on it so they can't be fired without,
any sort of like spell that can lock a door closed or that sort of thing could lock the breach closed. But it can still be fired off if it's loaded and somebody knows the proper phrase. Yep. Arcane lock. Yep. And he's like, and the way this has to work, somebody could load it from the front. So if the back is arcane locked and somebody shoved a canister and a cannonball down the front of this thing, it would still go off. It's apparently how the magic has to work. I don't know any more than that. I don't make them. I just load them onto ships.
Right.
The balls are basically anything approximately this size will work. The closer it fits to the bore of the cannon, the better. The more accurate it'll be, the better it'll fly. All those sorts of fun things. And the canisters themselves are relatively stable, but don't hit them hard. Like, don't hit them with something very hard, and don't light them on fire, and don't send them through an anti-magic field and then bring them back out. I suggest if they go into an anti-magic field, they stay there. What else was I told about? Apparently rats will chew through them and get the stuff inside of them, so try to keep shipboard rats away because you may have duds if you do. And he's got like this list of like 30 or 40 different things to watch out for on these things.
I'll make sure to put them in the notes where every notes on the ship, the things on the ship are, how it's controlled and stuff.
Right. He's like,
cat.
So the balls are 15 pounds.
18 pounds.
And the canisters?
What's that?
The canisters that we need to load the balls with?
Oh, the canisters are like 5 pounds. So the canister is about, so the ball itself is bowling ball size, maybe a little bigger than that. The canister is the same diameter, but it's about 1.5 foot long. So
it's more disc.
Yeah, it's
cylinder.
A long Coke can.
It's think coffee mug. So it's a thick cylinder.
Okay.
But they're like real thick coffee.
Long.
Yeah.
A little bit out of character, but how long will it take if you fire a cannon in combat sequence to reload and fire?
If you don't have any experience, it is one action. If with an experienced crew of two people, it is one action to pull the cannon back into firing position, basically to pull the things back up into firing position. It is one action by two people to open the thing, load the cannonball, load the shot, close the thing back up, and then it is an action to fire. So you can fire with an experienced crew once every 3 rounds with an exceptional like roll, probably once every 2 rounds.
Yeah, I could use my mage hand for the canister.
Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't shave off enough to make it into 2 rounds yet.
No. But it could help you if you didn't have somebody to help you like reload the thing. So instead of taking like 2 rounds to reload it by yourself, it takes maybe 1 round to reload it by yourself. But
Can we use 2 mage hands to put a ball in there?
mage hand can lift up to 5 pounds.
10.
I thought it was
Oh,
10.
10? So yes, two mage hands in concert could load the ball.
How peculiar with 3 mage hands on deck.
Mm-hmm.
That so that could definitely help speed up this process. Like using magical assistance could absolutely make you load a cannon faster than a person who doesn't have that assistance. But if you had a crew of 6 people running these cannons, you could fire a broadside every 3 rounds. And if you spent a couple hundred rounds in practice, you could probably fire a broadside every 2 rounds.
How expensive are these canisters and balls?
The
And
ball.
what kind of metal is the ball?
The ball is made out of stone.
Ah, okay.
So a properly fitted, like somebody spent some effort into crafting this stone ball, is probably on the order of 1 brass piece.
Makes sense.
So if you just find a rock that's about the right size, he explains this too. It's like anything that's about the right size will fire out the end of this gun. It has like magical effects that will get it going in the right direction. But it is subject to the wind pushing against it and all the other, like natural forces once it's out the end of the cannon. And so the rounder the ball and the tighter the fit to the bore of the cannon, the better this thing fires. Basically, the more accurate it will be and the farther it can fire and all that sort of fun stuff. But anything that's about the right size will go out the front end. So if you guys want to invent grape shot, that's absolutely something you could try to do.
Nice.
The shot itself is the cannon load itself is 15 brass per, and right now there are only a couple of towns making them. Kirsch is one of them. The guy suspects that Kartuk is also making them, but he can't prove it. He hasn't seen any cannons coming out of them, but they're really smart and they've seen examples of this thing. There's probably somebody on the southern continent who could make it if they had an example or two, but 15 brass can make you one of these things, or at least they can buy one of these things in Kirsch. Somewhere else might be more expensive.
Do you know who has the blueprints for these canisters? So they're magical.
It is a magical thing. There are wizards who are working for the cannon foundries who are just churning these things out, basically. Like
Might be interesting to visit.
A low-level mage or sorcerer with a little bit of training can create these things, not necessarily en masse, but definitely can churn these things out.
A couple a day.
Yeah, a couple a day per person.
Well, that was fun testing. I think we can head back to Kirsch and see how much we can stock up.
He nods. All right. You turned the thing around. You like zero care for the wind, and ride a smooth, as if there was a perfect wind and the seas were glassy, trip back into town. He's like, so how much for the ship?
It's not for sale.
I know, but it might be for sale someday. How much for the ship?
Look at it. It doesn't have sails. It's not for sale.
I he like blinks like 10 seconds, groans, and then laughs and pats you on the back and says, just laughs.
Oh my god! That was perfect.
You need inspiration if you don't already have it, Horgold. If you do already have it, well, too bad. You get inspiration 1.
Use it.
Yes. All right.
I think Sam wants us to use inspiration more.
Yes, I do actually. It's a thing that you guys should be using. It's available to you.
Yep.
All right, so you guys get back. It takes you exactly as long to get back into to dock, as it did to get out. He shakes his head, not for sale, and just chuckling to himself as he disembarks. There are 10 rounds per cannon, in barrels on the shore. And as you guys pull back in, they start loading them. There's like these crates, with probably each crate. So 10 rounds per can, so 60 rounds total. But like each crate has like 4 shot in it, and there's like several people who lift it up and move it onto your boat. And then the actual canisters are loaded into it's loaded into a wooden crate with like 2 inches of straw on every side of the canister, and they're loaded at like 4 per thing as well. He says, best of luck to you. I hope to see you back in town, and I hope that whatever you're hunting with these works out to be for the better of people and not for piracy. But I got my orders, and you guys got your cannons.
Oh, don't worry. This won't be for piracy.
Not yet, anyway.
he just starts belly laughing at you, Famar, and heads into town.
So this cannon foundry thingy with the mages. Can I find its location or ask around the port?
So
Price now?
there are a whole lot of people who know the warehouse this stuff comes out of, but don't know the actual like physical location of the foundry.
Maybe we should ask Magda.
Sure.
Yeah, Magda would know.
You want to know the secret?
So you guys find Magda, and she is very reticent to tell you where to find it. She's like, well, I can get you as many shot as you want. I can get you as much as you want, but she's very, very, very reticent to actually give you a location.
Wouldn't it be smarter to have us produce it on the way, so when we have spare time, we could stock up?
We got 60 times 3 rounds for each cannon to fire. I don't think we're gonna use those 60 that we already have.
Just think about it, what a high-level wizard or a high-level sorcerer could do instead of the low ones you're using.
There's like a heavy sigh, and she's like, well, I know what you guys are, where you're going and what you're doing. And she says, wait here. And she dimension doors somewhere. And dimension doors back and hands you a slip of paper with a magical formula on it.
Thank you very much. And I don't know if Virtus takes it or I take it.
I can take it with me, but yeah, think we're going to study it.
Mm-hmm.
So a sheet with a spell on it,
Yep.
or a
So it is a sheet with a magical formula on it. It is a level in game terms. It is a level 1 spell with 10 brass worth of material of the correct materials. And a casting of this spell, you can create one of these magical canisters for firing the cannon, basically.
and can I use it indefinitely or?
You can't cast it from the sheet itself. You would have to
Learn it.
So, Striggs, you're gonna have to like write it in your book.
Yep.
And
Converts the formula into my own.
Right, convert the formula into your own method, and Vergeros, you'd have to basically
Learn it
on however sorcerers learn spells.
Yeah, so I can't use it immediately.
No, you can't use it immediately, but you have access to it.
Okay.
Well, the canisters themselves are like scroll. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, the canisters themselves is kind of like a scroll, only generally you can,
a scroll like in RPG games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in D&D, you generally can like read a scroll to learn the spell. If you're a wizard, the canisters are crafted in such a way that the magical effect lingers, but the way it is created does not.
Yep.
And she does not give you how the cannons are made, because there's definitely a lot of magic involved with that.
Makes sense. That's not too bad. I'm very satisfied with this.
So give me an Arcana check, please, you two.
That's a 19 on the dice for my last divination roll of the day.
Okay, so 19 on the dice.
29.
29, 24, plenty. This guy was kind of playing down how dangerous this stuff is. You're like, oh, this is easy. This is how it. Oh, he wasn't kidding. Like a strong strike on the side of it, or like just a campfire or anything else, will make this thing go off explosively.
The cannon itself, right?
No,
the canisters.
The canisters are
okay.
Basically TNT, magically loaded TNT.
Basically nitroglycerin. Not quite as volatile as nitroglycerin. You can probably drop it, but you can see why they're packed in 2 inches on each side of straw.
All right.
Anything else you guys want to do here in Kirsch before you get Bowen back and head out?
Oh, right. Before we leave, we are going to put the canister somewhere safe.
Really? Oh, demiplane. Neat.
Yes.
You create a shadowy door on a flat solid surface. Door is large enough to allow medium creatures to pass through. When open, the door leads to... Oh.
And I can basically go to that specific one if I cast it again.
Okay, you do that. That's where all of the cannon stuff is held. Safe and secure and not going to get blown up.
The canisters, not the cannonballs, right?
Right. Whatever you want to put in there, you can. It holds it without any complications and a whole lot safer than...
Yeah.
So what you're saying is I don't get to just blow up your ship.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's way better.
All right. Yeah. So you do that. That's fine. There's no complication.
I will call this demiplane the Knight's Tale inventory.
It's just recursive.
Yes.
Just armory? Isn't that good enough?
No. Oh, by the way, when I cast it on the door where where the room to the fairy ring was.
Sure.
And I'm gonna cast it there in the future as well, to that specific one.
Right. All right. It's a level 8 spell. I mean, that makes sense.
Yep.
A solid surface that you can see within range. So you're gonna have to go below deck to do that.
Yep. Correct.
All right. Just making sure that that makes sense. All right. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else before you guys head out?
I just shake my head at Strix, and that's it.
Why? At the inventory?
Hey, you made the sale.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up there for the day. We will pick up not tomorrow, next week with the trip down south and whatever happens there. You guys are now traveling significantly faster than you were before all this started. I will I will go ahead and sign off here. So it has been great having you guys. It's been a lot of fun playing with you. It has been great having all of the people in chat. Thank you everybody for watching. It has been great having you here. Bye.